We're live. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post. My name is Drew Laris, and this is MTM.
Hey.
This show is partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture.
That it is.
Here in Kokomo. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Doing well. Coming off a wonderful weekend. A little relaxing at times. A lot of downtime with the missus, so that was always good. And nice time with friends last night watching a football game.
There was a game on last night?
That some people would say there was not.
Yeah. We were talking
surprising.
a little bit before the show started, but it was kind of a little boring night. Boring game. But yeah, congrats to the Eagles. A lot of people were happy about that. Unless you were a Chiefs fan.
I don't
know. It was weird. It was a weird game. I didn't care either way. Who won?
I didn't have a dog in the fight either. I was like you. It's like, okay, it'd be cool to see the Chiefs.
The three-peat thing.
The three-peat history thing. But at the same time, it'd be cool to see the Eagles upset a team that's been considered the recent dynasty. So
yeah. So it was interesting. Commercials were okay. So there were some good ones.
A handful.
I really liked the Mountain Dew with seal as an actual seal. That one made me laugh.
It was a little freaky.
The Disney one with Stitch running on the field was funny. Of course, Disney hit it out of the park. They're good at that kind of stuff. Right. But I mean, yeah, it was okay. Yeah. You know. So
Budweiser had their few feel-good ones too.
Yeah,
so.
I think Nike had a really good one with the girl playing flag football. Mm-hmm. That was a really good ad. But it was an okay Super Bowl.
It was an okay Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Good food, good friends.
Yeah, well, good. This show is partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture, and this winter you can step into a world of comfort and savings at Robert Miller & Son in Kokomo. Our Winter Wonderland sale is here with 25% off all furniture when you pay with credit or debit, and 30% off when you pay with cash or check. Whether you're looking to update your living room, add a new bedroom set, or bring home something special for the new year, now is the perfect time to save. Don't miss out. These incredible deals won't last long. Visit Robert Miller & Son today and make your home a little warmer this winter.
Perfect.
Shout out to them. So what's going on at City Hall this week?
Not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, still just getting the year set up and projects in line and grant applications submitted. And so kind of playing the waiting games for the weather to break a little bit. I mean, I know it's been decent, cold, warm. We're going to get a little bit of snow again on Wednesday maybe, but it's nothing that's been too dicey. But yeah, I mean, just again, looking at projects and prioritizing, kind of keeping our finger on the pulse of things happening down at the State House as well to see what may come of Senate Bill 1. And those that don't know about Senate Bill 1, it's a proposal to cut a lot of taxes, which would benefit homeowners, but really strap municipalities on the level of services and budgets that are already set and everything. And so they aren't anticipating it to pass in its present form because it's a little drastic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll get massaged through a couple committees probably, and we'll see how that shakes out and how that determines where we do on projects and services and purchases and such as the year goes on.
So originally that bill was cut immediately?
No, it wasn't cut.
Oh, no, the budgets and things like that. Or the funding.
Well, funding, yeah. I mean, reducing, it added additional homestead credits to properties under $125,000 in assessed valuation.
That's not a lot of homes these days.
It reduces the growth quotient, and so the growth quotient is the amount that's permissible for a municipality's budget to increase over the previous year's budgets. In the past, it's been right around 4%. So they're talking about reducing that to maybe 2%, which again only allows a 2% increase as opposed to 4%, which has been anticipated in the past, which could affect revenues that way as well. So it's just looking at a whole gamut of things to, as now Governor Braun had campaigned on about looking at property taxes to provide a little bit of relief for homeowners, for Hoosiers across the state. And so the whole, what's the little the taglines, erase but replace type of battle cry from both cities and counties to make sure that there are opportunities or other funding opportunities in place, which again would just fall upon the locals to look at fees and additional income taxes or wheel taxes or such. So we'll see what it comes.
How is this? I've always thought that property taxes were dictated at the county level. How is the state involved in county or property taxes? Sorry, property taxes were dictated at the county level.
Well, they're calculated at the county level, so the properties are assessed, and then based on the budgets, then the state sets or approves the tax rates for the municipalities and for the various townships.
Interesting. I didn't
and
know
such.
that.
And so once the tax rates are set, because the tax rate isn't the same for the city of Kokomo as it is for Harrison Township. And so, and then of course that tax rate's applied to the assessed valuations, come up with the property taxes. So the state actually, so the cities, counties and such put budgets together, they submit to the State Board of Accounts, they receive them, the State Board of Accounts from the state, it sets the tax rates within each of those taxing districts, and then again mandates the amount of growth quotient, and of course we've got property tax caps in there, and they establish the tax exemptions or tax deductions that folks qualify for, and those dollar amounts and such, and so a lot of that is dictated from the state, but calculated at the local level.
That's really interesting. And the only information they use to dictate those tax rates are the budgets that the cities and counties send to them.
Yes.
Learn something new every day. I thought it was all in the county level.
And it looks at property valuations and investment and stuff and everything. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with what the assessed valuations are in the valuations, coupled with what the proposed budgets for services and such are.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Anything else going on at City Hall?
No, I don't think so.
Because don't property taxes pay a lot into the schools as well?
So property taxes used to pay, there's a small portion of that does go to, that's collected through the property taxes, yes, but a lot of that funding comes from the state, so it's not, basically, mandated or paid through the counties. It's collected at the county level and sent to the state, and then the state funds the schools anymore based on students as opposed to, wherever their needs or their budgets.
So this bill that's going through is included in that any cutting or cutting of funding for schools?
Mm-hmm. It could affect the schools too.
What else do you have to cut in schools? Interesting. Okay. We'll see how that plays out then.
See how it plays out.
So you're active at the State House right now? Like learning about, or just following along?
Just following it, yeah. A lot of online. I know that the Chamber of Commerce, through the State Chamber of Commerce, is watching it. We as mayors are watching it through our Accelerated Indiana Municipalities organization, which is the state organization that used to be cities and towns, and then the county is watching it, so to speak, through the commissioners, the County Commissioners Association. Statewide.
Gotcha.
So got lobbyists and activists kind of watching that and then disseminating the information back to the cities, towns, counties.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, let's get into the Ask the Mayor segment.
Sure.
But before we do that, just a reminder to go to the kokomopost.com/postpass to sign up for your Kokomo Post Pass. It is $5 a month, and it gives you access to experience Kokomo like never before. We have a lot of early access content that can come on the Post Pass. You get those through emails. I know they have a few, actually, first looks I think they're filming and documenting this week about new stuff opening up in Kokomo.
Awesome.
And if you want to be the first to find out about that stuff, make sure you join the Post Pass, as well as there are hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of free experiences or discounted experiences here in Kokomo as well. So make sure to go to the kokomopost.com/postpass. Only $5 a month gets you to experience Kokomo like you never have before. Let's get into the questions today. Right. First one is from Nikki on Facebook. Hey. A few weeks ago, I asked about extending the walk trail past Lincoln under 931, since there's no safe places to cross 931 at all in our city. What I took away away from the mayor's answer was there's a trail that goes underneath the bridge and it really isn't a priority. Well, that area is impassable on a bike or with a stroller, and it's just a rough dirt path. This really is a necessity, and it appears the project was once started but just needs to be finished. Connecting the residential areas on the southeast side to the trail should be a priority, and I ask him again to look into completing it.
We'll look into it. But so the trail that goes underneath 931?
That's what she's saying, yeah. It's real beat up, I think is what she's saying.
Okay.
And impassable with either a bike or like a stroller at times.
Okay. Yeah, because the parks maintain our trails. So yeah, if there's, it could be debris. It could be from, because it's under the bridge along the creek. If there was flooding or just sediment and such that's collected underneath there, we need to address it. So yeah, so we'll look at that. But as it works its way back up to ground level, if you will, on the east side of 931, the only access really to connect to the trail would be the rail line without acquiring all kinds of easements through folks' backyards that are adjacent to the rail line. But we'll continue to kind of poke at the railroad company and see if they would be interested in relinquishing that line or selling the line, that we can continue it on the east side of Lincoln through the neighborhood. But unfortunately, right now it was just it's dangerous across the bridge there on 931 at this point to then get down and get underneath to back up on the west side. But we'll definitely look at if it is impassable underneath the bridge.
Okay. Next question is from Mike on Facebook. Sidewalks on Berkeley Street by the work release program. People are walking in the street. It's dangerous. Mike on Facebook.
Yep. So that's a project that we were hoping to have slated for this year. It's going out for, I think it's being designed now and will go out for bid this year for potential construction next year, or out for bid early part of next year for completion later on. So yeah, that stretch from Berkeley, or of Berkeley from Markland down to Sycamore is under design to be reconstructed, and sidewalks on both sides. So sidewalk just on the west side, so which is the same as work release and the hospital and
sure.
The jail and such. So
okay,
it's in process.
Next question is from Archie on Facebook. It's a road question, but one we don't hear much often. The roads in the city, especially in the county, needs to paint the yellow lines. It's really difficult at night, and when it rains, they almost disappear. And if you have a vehicle with the bright LED lights, you can't see anything, and you need the lines to see where you're at on the road. Archie on Facebook.
Good deal. Yeah, so as the weather breaks, a lot of that can't get out and paint a lot of the streets now because of the weather. But definitely, as we look to our roads, not just for repaving, but for situations like that, those line markers are getting faint. We'll address them as we can. So what stretch did he say? Or did he say
just the city and county roads? Yeah.
So if he's got any in particular that you frequent and would like us to look at addressing before others, or as at the top of the list, feel free to email that to me, mayor@cityofkokomo.org.
Gotcha. So Marcia and Carl both had similar questions, so I'll just read both of them. Enforce ordinances. Trash cans being left out, cars with no valid plates sitting in streets, and parking cars all over your front yard, says Marcia on Facebook, as well as Carl said, I've said this last time, but the trash cans not being taken back to their houses have back to their houses. Even people live across the street leave their cans there for weeks. Then when you have company, there's nowhere for them to park. Then you have some of these old cars with flat tires not being moved. Why doesn't the mayor call someone, tell them? Why should homeowners have to call about everything? Also, when they dump the cans, they leave trash on the ground. You think they would pick it up. So Carl and Marcia are both making comments about certain ordinances are in place, but they don't feel like they're being enforced enough.
Okay, yeah, and unfortunately the cans, the trash totes situation is citywide. And so, that's something that if manpower dictates, I mean, to go house to house to do, I mean, we can definitely look at that. I mean, we encourage folks to take the totes back up, but I think a lot of people just don't realize that it's an actual ordinance to bring the totes back up to the house so many hours, days, or whatever after the trash has been picked up. So there's definitely the need for that. Vehicles, I mean, they can report those and we can tag them. Now, if the tags are not expired and the vehicle can be mobile, I know that there's a lot of times that even though it sits there, there's not a whole lot to do with that, but we can definitely look in if they've got cars in particular, because we don't have, I mean, even though we've got inspectors driving to certain locations, if they've got the properties on their lists to check out on any given day or any given week, they're not noticing, I mean, if they're passing cars that are parked on side of the street, it may not have made known or made a note of when they were passed, and then the drive back past there to see if they're still there, a week later or something. So, that's why we love folks to be able to give us, a location in front of an address or something, or landmark or something that we can identify and send somebody out to check it out, because we definitely would do that if folks have noticed things, just again, because we're not driving past or patrolling, the same streets day after day, I mean, to notice when people are parked, or if it's been moved at some point during the day. I get if the tire's flat, then that can bring more attention to something that may be immobile, but we always appreciate the additional eyes to be able to let us know what we need to do. But I agree, we need to probably step up the enforcement of ordinances, not just totes and cars, but a handful, and a lot of that would get down as we continue to add manpower.
So would those be like a police force enforcing those in, or you said manpower?
It could be. I mean, I know just like for parking, downtown, to enforce the 2-hour parking, because we got.
No, we're good. We don't need to enforce that one. As someone that parks downtown a lot.
So I mean, that's not a police officer. It would be a non-sworn employee of the police department that would do that. Same way with inspections. I mean, we've only got a handful of inspectors, and some of those are part-time. One specializes just in parked or abandoned vehicles. So there's one individual that again not specialized, but is assigned to cars, whether they're abandoned or need to be moved. The rest are property specific, either weed or trash and such. And so any additional eyes that we can get to help direct those individuals intentionally to the areas that need it, we always appreciate.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Lori on Facebook. There was a bill passed in Indiana about homeless people setting up camp on private or public property. So that means no camping in the woods off the trails. How will you enforce this? And we need to find we need more housing for homeless with families, since they don't have, so they don't have to separate.
Yeah. So, I mean, we passed an ordinance here locally for camping on public spaces, private side. I mean, I don't know if there was, I think there's a bill being proposed now in this session, and the session's not over yet. So I don't know that it's been passed or know anything else about it, but obviously that would specify that. But camping along our trails are linear parks. And so if in the areas where folks are camping or staying, if they are within that right of way, if you will, of the trail, then we've got, again, either code enforcement or KPD officers that go and have asked folks to leave. That's where the ordinance comes into place too, that if things need cleaned up, we would be able to secure their belongings, for the 60, I guess if it's abandoned 60 days, but for a number of days for them to make arrangements and then reclaim it. But yeah, if they're camping on, I mean, just off the trail, but it's on private property, there's not a whole lot we could do. It would be the property owners that would have to ask them to leave or to notify KPD of them trespassing, and those folks could be put on trespass, which could lead to an arrest if they're actually camping or staying on a person's private property. So yeah, as we identify or discover those, whether folks are on the trails and report them or park staff, then we do try to help them either make arrangements or ask them to move along.
Gotcha. Next question is from Vicky on Facebook. He's talked about using the Jackrabbit Stadium for other purposes since it won't be used for baseball this year. Is there anything planned yet? If the answer is no, this is a close-ended question. Please don't talk in circles, says Vicky. That wasn't me. I want to be clear.
If the answer is no, don't.
Do you not have anything for sure planned yet? Is what she was asking.
So yes, for sure planned. We've got Kokomo High School baseball. They'll be playing their season. The Indiana University at Kokomo Cougars and their baseball season. There's a 3-day collegiate tournament scheduled for the summer. I know that there are a couple of nonprofit organizations that have it, but as for the community, no, there's nothing specific planned outside of Kokomo baseball, IUK baseball, and maybe a few community events for nonprofits. We don't have concerts scheduled yet. We've not worked with the Cubs organization to bring some of the youth teams in. Because we're still waiting for the judge to decide if the Jackrabbit organization is granted the 5-year extension, of the contract, or agreement, which would then turn the stadium over to them to then plan and manage, and even though the Jackrabbit team would not be playing baseball because of the agreement,
scheduling,
the Kokomo baseball organization manages the stadium from April to October. And so we would then work with them or hope that they would work with organizations to plan things, or if the city is given the decision on the case, then we would start actively scheduling things. So so a lot of what I've talked about is saying, even though there's not going to be baseball, it is our intent to
It's not going to be Jackrabbits baseball.
Use it, for community events and things, but we haven't actively scheduled anything yet because there's not been an official ruling as to who would actually manage the stadium from April through October.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question is from Ray on live chat. What are you most excited about this coming year for Kokomo?
I know the Hotel Conference Center won't be completed by year end, but it'll be fun to see that continue to get built. I'm I guess talking about the stadium, even though the Jackrabbits won't be playing, I'm excited to see what other opportunities we'll be able to provide for use of the stadium to still bring folks down in that area to enjoy. Looking forward to hopefully the splash pad out at Jackson Morrow Park being completed. So that's something that another amenity that folks will be able to enjoy. Same way with the pickleball and tennis courts. So excited about some of the additional quality of life initiatives that will be done this year, and then excited to see the number of housing starts that will be breaking ground this year. Again, won't be completed probably by year's end just because of construction and materials and such, but at least excited to see a lot of that stuff start happening.
Gotcha. Next question is from Jeff on live chat.
Sure.
Sorry. How about a new fire station with a hospital ambulance stationed in the northeast part of Kokomo near the battery plant? Just whip one of those up real quick.
That'd be great. So where we have now, I guess because of the, need for a location or the need for a new potential Station 3 to begin with, not knowing if that needs to stay or where that location will be. That will be the next initiative after we get Station 6, which is the one there at 931 on Boulevard, built this year. I mean, definitely could benefit from a seventh fire station, but bringing a seventh station then brings on the need for additional engines and additional firefighters, and we're having a hard time, getting basically stopping the bleed, if you will, hiring firefighters, then losing those others to retirement, and just showing barely a net gain on that. I mean, so having a station out there would require another dozen firefighters to go on the trucks, and then, as we've mentioned before, part of the reason we don't have the ambulance back in service with the fire station is because that too would require the hiring of 8 or 9 additional firefighters in order to staff it, with 2 of them at each or for each battalion, and so it's not as simple of putting a station up. I mean, you still got to buy a couple engines, and especially if it's going to be up by the battery plant. Ambulance kind of the same way. Well, we've got the one that we could use, but the hospitals being strategically placed as they are, community can still sneak up there as quickly as they can from that location. But yeah, I think a lot of that would come with just overall resources and where we are struggling. And here we're talking about, if the state legislature adjusts, anything property tax wise, that's going to reduce some of the revenue back. And so just trying to get things staffed the way we can now is going to be a struggle, but continue to work through it as best we can.
Gotcha.
So, but it's a great idea. Long answer short.
How does that work? Because I think when the battery plant originally was making plans, were they planning on having some sort of fire safety out there of their own or something like that?
Just the fire suppression system within their facility. I mean, so they don't have a fire department per se. I mean, they've got a fire safety crew to help address issues in there. But as for, and then the suppression system is designed to dump, water or suppressant for like 2 hours, inside before the additional need for fire response. But that obviously assists in what the fire department would need to do. But no, there were no plans by Star Plus to construct a standalone station or provide engines and such. I mean, that doesn't mean that that couldn't be an additional discussion. It's been tossed around and mentioned, in meetings and such, but they're content with the positioning of the stations and the response time that's been given thus far. So, but never say never.
Gotcha. Well, you know what to say. The shoe fits. It's probably not a dolphin. So those are the questions we had today for the Ask the Mayor segment.
Okay.
We had 9 questions. We just went through them quickly.
We just done quick. Yeah.
Knocked them out today.
Good.
If you have any more questions for the mayor, just leave it below in the chat, and I always go back and make sure I don't miss any questions from previous shows, as well as we always put out a post on the day of filming where you can answer those questions there, and we'll get them over to you.
But if you can find a dolphin that wears shoes, post a picture for next week, because I'd love to see it.
I just don't think that's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Dolphins wearing shoes. I mean, yeah, post that picture. That'd be interesting.
That'd be cool.
I'd be flabbergasted if we saw that.
That'd be something.
Dolphin shoes.
Dolphin shoes.
Either would they be swim even faster?
Oh, maybe.
Okay, not my best today. Do you have a dad joke for us?
I do. So, yeah, we were talking about last night's game. It was a little rough one for the Chiefs, and I know Patrick Mahomes was trying to keep things as light as he could on the sidelines, telling some of his receivers some jokes, but they had the same result as a lot of the passes that he was throwing to them on the field.
Interceptions?
No, they kept going over their heads. They just weren't getting them.
Womp, 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 womp. There you go. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture, Kokomo. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Got it. See you, Kokomo.